and being stakeholders in our community to help contribute to our schools. And it's a great opportunity to be here with everything that we've gone through the past year and just having a good reason to come out and something to celebrate. I'm excited about that. You'll notice at your tables there's some face masks that we have passed out. Y'all, please take that home, wear it around town, be a walking billboard in the community for FEEF to help celebrate our 25-year anniversary. And we are gracious to have the Grand Hotel host us in such a big room to allow us to social distance, spread out so that we can still come and do a fun event like this without putting anybody at risk. I want to acknowledge and thank Diane Ham and her students for, as we came in today, having some piano and music. We really appreciate your program and all you do for your students, and thank you for coming today. So we're gathered here today to celebrate the 25th year of the Fairhope Educational Enrichment Foundation and its impact on our community and all of our students and kids. As you all well know, FEEF was founded in 1996 and continues today with the mission of promoting and enriching educational opportunities for all Fairhope public school students. We're guided by the principle that every child has the right to an excellent education and that an investment in Fairhope schools is an investment in our community. So I want to thank the planning committee who's been working for the past year for this event. And all your hard work that went into it and allowing us to be here today. Davis Brock, Amy Philippi, Stephanie Williamson, Sally Miller, Paula White, Linda Smith, Heather Lane, Julie Brown, Alicia Searcy, and Jill Stanley. Thank y'all. I want to thank our current board members as well for their continued hard work in leading our organization through this past year and everything that we have on our plate that we're working towards. I want to thank our city leaders. Mayor Sullivan, thank you for the city and all the support that y'all provide, as well as Councilman Jack Burrell, Jimmy Conyers, Kevin Boone, Robert Brown, and Corey Martin. Thank y'all for everything that y'all do for our organization and also for our public schools. And so I also want to thank the Baldwin County Board of Education and their leadership, Superintendent Eddie Tyler, our district board members, Mr. Cecil Christenberry, all of our principals of our schools, Ms. Carol Broughton, Ms. Julie Pierce, Ms. Angie Hall, Patrice Wolf, and John Cardwell. And then all our teachers as well for all that y'all do for our kids and our community. Thank y'all. So today we're gathered here. We're gathered to celebrate the past, the 25-year anniversary of FEEF. We want to acknowledge the present, but then we also want to cast a vision for the future of what the next 25 years for FEEF and our community are going to look like. So we're honored. I really appreciate everybody coming today, and I appreciate all that y'all have done for our community and this organization and all that is to come. So I'm going to invite Mr. Cecil Christenberry up to speak a few words and also open us up in prayer. Thank you, Cecil.
All right. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. When I got the call that I could come and give an invocation, I was so happy to do that, and I promised that I wouldn't preach a sermon during that. And then this guy calls yesterday and he said, if you'd like to say a few words. I said, you kidding me? So I don't know what time this room is. Anyway, that's all right. But hey, I just want to say a few words from my heart. I want to just say thank you. Thank you to a group of people, visionaries, talented, stubborn, tenacious. There's a lot of adjectives for the people 25 years ago that had a vision. And they indeed had a vision. And that vision and the goal of that vision was all about our children. And isn't that important? And as the torch of leadership from those wonderful people so many years ago, as that torch has passed, leader to leader to leader, and here's where we are. And I'm excited today to be celebrating 25 years. I can't believe it's been 25 years. I was thinking maybe 15. Flies, doesn't it, Cindy? 25 years. And think of where we are today. But I'll tell you this. I'm excited about the golden anniversary, and I plan to be here. right? In 25 years, because think of where we were, where we are, and where we can go, and the goal has never changed. It's all about our children. It's all about our children and offering them the very best educational opportunity possible. And thank you, just thank you. I say I'll be here if God willing, and speaking of that, join me in a word of prayer, please. Gracious Heavenly Father, this morning we are just so excited to be gathered in this place, in this beautiful place. And by that, Lord, I don't necessarily mean the beauty of this room and this hotel that we're blessed to have. I mean the beauty of where FEEF is after 25 years. Lord, it hasn't been easy. There's been struggles. Lord, I understand that anything that's worth doing, you have to struggle for sometimes, and that's okay. We got good people that are willing to struggle and stand firm, and I thank you, Lord, for those people. You've blessed us. There's no question that you have blessed us, and you continue to bless us, Lord. So this morning I ask for wisdom, for all of us, wisdom, to know what the right thing, to stand for the truth, to know what the right thing is. And Lord, along with that wisdom, I pray for courage to do it. Lord, thank you for Fairhope Education Enrichment Foundation, everyone who's ever participated, and looking forward to those that will participate over the next 25 years, so that in that year of that golden year of Jubilee, when we come back, Lord, think where we'll be with your help, with your guidance and your direction. Now, we're about to have a brunch, Lord, and we thank you for the food that we're about to partake. I ask that you bless the food to the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to your service. For us in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
So we want to honor the past. We want to look back to where we started and where we've come from. And I want to invite Miss Vicki Bailey to come up and speak a few words and talk to us about what it was like to start the Pelican's Nest and the FEEF program, and just share her experience with us. Come on up, Vicki.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here for a little while and reminisce and think about the history of this foundation and FEEF and the Pelican's Nest Science Lab. They all truly evolved together. Well, the Pelican's Nest began with a vision, and Cecil talked about a vision. We all had the vision. The vision was to provide enrichment through a marine science facility that would go above and beyond county curriculum, state guidelines, but to provide enrichment to all the children. Because you see, there were many children at our school that had never once been taken down to the bay by their parents, never. Never once experienced the pier or fished off the pier or seen the beauty of what it's like to be on the beach. But they lived in Fairhope. Their parents didn't take the time, or they might not have had the funding, who knows, but they hadn't been there. So our teachers always taught through thematic instruction. Do any of you teachers here know what thematic instruction is? I see some nods. Oh yeah, Linda Smith, you know. So what it is you take a theme, and based on that theme, you provide hands-on, authentic learning experiences, immersing the child into that particular thing. Always it was down by the bay. Every teacher, 12 kindergarten teachers, 13 first grade teachers, all taught down by the bay. And what did they want? They all wanted the same thing. Each wanted a microscope. They wanted seine nets. They wanted crustacean models. They wanted seashells. So in order to streamline this, the obvious thought was establish a science lab, create a science lab for that purpose. Because children learn naturally. They learn through their environment. They learn through all modalities. And so that's really was the beginning of the Pelican's Nest dream. And it certainly was thought of and started as a dream. So we proceeded to think about what would that be like. I won't really say what I first thought it would be like because some people probably would laugh. Experimental play, centers, those kinds of things that the teachers had. I thought a boat might be great for them to experience the bay in. I've told you that story, haven't I? I've told a few of you. Some of you have lived it with me. So I went and looked at Mr. Gay's huge boat. It was a houseboat. And I thought, wouldn't this be great? Well, the question, how do you get it up there? How do you get it on the campus? How in the world would you have enough room to allow children to utilize microscopes and things in a boat? Couldn't happen. So, plan B. We thought about what a science lab might look like. Well, we also thought there were certain people, wonderful parents in the community, at the school, committed to active in the education of their children. So I called a few together. We had a meeting, that very first meeting of some people, some parents that I knew could make a difference. We sat in these little chairs. Have you ever seen, like this size? We sat in those chairs. We talked about what it would take to make it happen. We had an accountant, Lee Barnard, Lee Nosher. I don't know if Lee's here. She was one of the original. Could the original members please stand, the ones that were in that room and the ones that were in the first year? I know that, okay. We had to have someone knowledgeable about writing nonprofit 501c3s, and Mr. Hutchings was that person. He assisted us in that. We had to have someone that was a community activist, a wonderful volunteer, active in every PTA, because her children went from kindergarten all the way up to, by then, middle school, I think. And Cindy McBreedy was that person. We had an architect, because we knew we needed to have the design for the lab. Jenna Walcott was on the board at that time. Even our mayor, current mayor, was a parent at the school at that time and very active, as well as a volunteer. So we had that meeting, and when Ms. McBrearty was at the meeting, she said, I think it would be a great thing to have a science lab. However, I think that if we establish a foundation, we need to have this foundation established for children through all grades in Fairhope, from K to 12. And so when Ms. McBrearty spoke, we listened, because she really did have the knowledge and the basis and the background of what was great for education, and was a wonderful contact and was able to make things happen. So we suggested even further on that vision that we continue to do mini grants. Mini grants were being written at that time by not only teachers to fund their classrooms, but also children were writing the grants and submitting to the committee. And the committees that were grant writing committees on the foundation would review those grants. Really wonderful grants came about by then. We continued our focus as to what would we name the foundation. We thought about, that was in January 1996 that we had that first meeting. We had the 501c3 and were deemed a nonprofit in March of 1996. So then we had a strategic planning meeting to decide who were we, what were we about, what will a foundation become, and what will the goal be. The 4 letters of FEEF were developed from that strategic planning session. We decided, as Cecil has mentioned to us too, throughout the session, one thing rang true: enrichment. We want to enrich our children's education in Fairhope above the county guidelines, above the state standards, and beyond. So FEEF became a reality. Fairhope Educational Enrichment Foundation became a reality from that strategic planning session. We had a name. And after that, the committee went to Hoover to look at their capital expansion project, which was a fine arts building. And they were working diligently. They were not asking, how will we fund this? They were just funding it. They were working hard at raising money. We worked hard at raising money too. We had the Bay Masquerade, we had the golf tournaments, we talked to county commissioners, we got legislative funding. Senator Bradley Byrne was part of that first funding. Joe Faust was part of that funding at $10,000 per. The city of Fairhope offered in-kind services such as a lot of the foundation work on the building, a lot of the maintenance on the building, as well as many other things. Oh, the first $50,000 into the foundation was donated by the city of Fairhope, and it continued on an annual basis. The mayor was an ex officio member of the board as well. We kept the connection with the city. We kept the connection with the Board of Education. The next thought was this: if we have a Pelican's Nest, if we have a science lab, who will we find to further the planning process for us and be involved in that? So Mr. Tom Hutchings, through a connection at the Coastal Foundation, John Dindo, discovered that Charlene Dindo, who was very well known and teaching at Council Magnet School, was available. I say available. She says that we stole her away from Mobile County Schools. How many of you know Charlene? She could not be here today. But if you experienced her, she is a dynamic individual. She won many esteemed grants through the Pelican's Nest and through the Science Lab, many of which, too numerous to mention, won the Eisenhower Grant. She assisted us in a lot of grant writing, the Legacy Grant, ExxonMobil grant, mobile grants, and others. But not once did we ever worry how we were going to fund this lab. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed looking and pursuing, and the energy was contagious. Everyone we talked to was excited about it. And so this is kind of a little bit of how we began, but we got many, many people on board, and it was about a year before the lab was constructed. But we had builders, Cliff Pittman, Bill Dawson, Steve Sloan, all donated a lot of their time and energy and workers to help Gray Cane. The metal building came about. I was trying to think what it was called. But a lot of donations, in-kind donations, assisted us using that funding to create more grants and to get more grants. Even Old Time Feed and Seed and Mr. Santa Claus over there helped us with the landscaping. Yes, ho, ho, ho. And we were thankful. We are thankful. But the truth was, as I said, through this process, no one, not one single member, worried about how will we get this, how will we find the end result or get the end result. Construction began, and each class found many little things that were so special to them during that year, 1996. They put it all in a box. We buried the time capsule. It is under the Pelican's Nest now, prior to the foundation going in and construction. All the board members, the county commissioners, and everyone came. There was lots of energy, lots of energy. The dedication took place. I believe that was the spring of '97. Not positive on that. Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad you looked it up. I didn't. Dedication took place. All of the people, the mayor, the city council, county commissioners, everyone was there, but the most important people who were there were the children, because their ideas, the teacher ideas that came into that lab, are what really made it happen. Those children were right on the front row, and as one of the board members looked at them and politely said, "Do you know why this came about? This came about for you because your parents made it happen. They were involved, they were committed, and we all made it happen." So, as you know, it was an effort on a lot of people's part. A lot of people were tenacious. They did not give up. They tried and they worked hard for a cause. But not only that, the parents were so great to be involved. It continued. It's continued for many other things. The other things were like the Black Box Theater at the high school. The many other things that have happened have come based on a lot of parents that have made a lot of decisions to make sure that their child is number one in their heart and their school is what they are going to support. And I commend you. In conclusion, along with a bit of history, let me provide just a small amount of wisdom. Never lose sight of your vision. Maintain educational enrichment as part of this foundation. Think about enrichment. Think about the word, what it means, as you determine what grants you fund, as you determine what projects that you move forward with. Let that always be your goal. And keep your passion for your children. Because you know what? Teachers can't do it alone. They need you. They need each and every one of you. And now, as we move forward in our agenda, we want to recognize and we want to honor all you members of FEEF and the organization for 25 years of excellence. We recognize you, the parents, current parents, former parents, and future parents. But mostly, and most importantly, we recognize the children of Fairhope because they are our future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vicki. Appreciate you. Your vision that you had back then and your continued support throughout the years, as well as all the other founding members of the organization. I did want to take a second and just acknowledge all of our past board members. If you've ever been a board member with FEEF, would you please just take a second and stand up so we can acknowledge you? Thank you all for your support throughout the years, in your giving of your time, your talents, and financial resources as well. Vicki mentioned several of the major milestones that, just some of the big initiatives that FEEF over the past 25 years has been able to accomplish. I'm, going to just barely scratch the surface because it goes very deep into a lot of the small classroom grants that we've been able to fund and just the direct impact that that's had within the class. But I did want to recognize, she mentioned the opening of the Pelican's Nest in 1997. In 2001, with the help of the Community Foundation of South Alabama, FEEF was able to get selected for a Kresge Community Grant and spent 3 years raising funds with a lot of hard work at the time by the board, community leaders, schools, parents. We're all able to raise a significant amount of money, which was set aside and then partially matched by the Kresge Foundation and set aside in a fund that is protected and invested and has a dividend annual payout to kind of help go and cover FEEF's operating costs to ensure that there's a sustainability there. That is such a blessing for the organization, not just then, but today and as we continue to move forward in our next 25 years. Several other accomplishments. She had mentioned that Charlene Dendo in 2002 had received a recognition as an Albert Einstein Fellow through her work with the Pelican's Nest. FEEF's contribution to help build the Black Box Theater, the piano lab at Fairhope High School, the piano and guitar lab at Fairhope Middle School, the science labs at J. Larry Newton, Fairhope East, which used to be Fairhope Intermediate, but Fairhope East now, and then also Fairhope West, which was Fairhope Elementary. And then also just the many national recognition and published articles about the Pelican's Nest program and why it's so unique and the impact that it has. There's been countless times that that program has been recognized nationally. One unique milestone that I wasn't able to participate in at the time, but is unique, back in 2014, FEEF was able to break a Guinness Book of World Record here at the Grand Hotel with the longest ice cream sundae. The record was set. There were 1,565 students that participated, 300 volunteers, and the ice cream sundae was 1,683 feet and then 5.5 inches. And that was the record at the time. Michael Herzog told me today that it may have been broken a couple times since then. I think we put it on the map, if you would, but he's been thinking about a way that we can bring that back, and let's take it back. So, but it was a great fundraiser at the time. It was unique. It was something to rally around, and just another kind of major milestone to bring the community together, engage them around a common purpose, and make it an educational opportunity as well. So I want to now transition into FEEF of the present. I want to acknowledge our current board members. If you would please stand, and thank you all for your service. And I want to introduce one of our teachers who's going to come up and talk to us, Miss Lisa Hood, who is the Science Lab STEAM teacher at Fairhope East and has done a fantastic job. She's still somewhat relatively, come on up, Lisa, somewhat new to our community, but she has come here and went 2 years ago and has really just hit the ground running. I think Carol, recently her school got recognized by a Cognia STEM certification, which is a big deal. It's a national certification, and without Carol's leadership, and I think a lot of the community involvement that this community has provided, and then also Lisa's leadership and kind of working through that process, it wouldn't have been able to happen. So I wanted to bring Lisa up and talk to a little bit about the impact that FEEF has had in the classroom and give her perspective. So thank you, Lisa.
Good morning. I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to have this opportunity to tell you about the amazing things and the impacts that you are doing for our children. Like Mr. Searcy said, I am pretty new to Fairhope. Last year, my husband moved us here for his job, and I could never have imagined a better place. I often wake up every morning and just thank God that he chose me to be part of Fairhope Schools. Fairhope Schools are extraordinary. They're the best in the world, honestly. Where I came from, I taught in Calhoun County for 10 years, and my students, we shared Chromebooks. Not every child had a device. I would have to sign out a card. Sometimes children didn't even have pencils. They would write with color pencils, and so every day I'm just so grateful for the resources that FEEF and for Baldwin County and the 3 Meal Tax Act has given us in the classroom. I can't express how grateful that we are for everything. A few things that FEEF has given to us this year are Ozobots, Spiros, and paper circuits. And I am so grateful for these grants. So I just want to tell you a little bit about what the grants do in the classroom and how we use them. So one item that we have are Ozobots, and these are these very small little robots that are really cool. You can code and program with markers and on the computer, and it just takes ordinary lessons, and it creates a passion and excitement for the students. We did a money lesson on Friday, and students in second grade are really struggling to count money because we do use, Venmo so much and online and debit card, and they really are having a hard time grasping the concept of money. And so we used the Ozobots to determine the amount of money that each child got, and it just made them so excited to count money, something that was really hard for them. It made it exciting. Another grant that we received this year is paper circuits. And so students in 4th grade have been learning all about how to create circuits. And so what paper circuits are, they use copper wire and LED lights, and the students have been creating these. But then they took it a step further. They have now created books for kindergarten. Each kindergarten class next week is going to receive a book that is going to teach them a skill. So the students created math fact books, and so on the page it has a math fact like 2 + 1, and the students will guess which one it is, and they simply touch the switch on the paper circuit and the LED will light up to show them the answer. And so I'm so excited for the kindergartners to see this, and the 4th graders have just taken so much pride and excitement and initiative in designing these books. They cannot wait to give them next week. Another thing that FEEF purchased last year for me in my 6th grade classroom was a 3D printer. And we were so excited about the 3D printer, and we got to print just a little bit before the pandemic hit, but we have brought the 3D printer back out, and the kids are just so excited, and they just cherish the smallest things from the 3D printer. This week we've been doing conversation hearts, and every student has got to take a conversation heart, but learn the process of engineering and the 3D printer. Some of the things that my students have said since we have started our STEAM this year is that they have learned so much. They've learned how to ask, imagine, create, and improve, and plan when we're doing a project that is major fun. It really adds extra to our classroom. We've got to bring our ideas to life, and I'm just so greatly appreciative of each and every one of you for your support and your donations, because it does make learning so much fun and so exciting. Students get so excited each week when they get to come to the STEAM lab, and I think they often forget that they're actually learning because it is so much fun. You guys truly are making education fun. Right now in this pandemic, this is more important than ever. People are truly needed. Pandemic means, in Greek, pan means many, endemic means people, pan means many people, endemic means of a country. And many people are needed right now. And what we need are critical thinkers and problem solvers. And we can teach all day to the book, but you know what really allows students to become critical thinkers and problem solvers is STEAM. And I'm just so grateful that you guys support and give the materials that we need to create these problem solvers and critical thinkers, because these are our students that are going to lead the future and lead the community and lead the world to come up with things that can end a global pandemic. Sorry. Galen was a Greek physician, and he studied the human body during a pandemic. And 3 things that he really looked into was the heart, the brain, and the blood. And I have been thinking over this the last year, living through the pandemic, and thinking about all of the amazing resources that FEEF has supplied to us during this pandemic. But I want to go back to the 3 things that he said. He said the heart, the brain, and the blood. And FEEF really does give the heart to the students. That is that excitement, that engagement, the eagerness to learn. And then the brain just ties in, of course. Once they have that excitement and that passion, they are eager to learn. They're eager for new knowledge. And last but not least is the blood, and that is the culture. I have never witnessed a better culture than I have here at Fairhope. It's just such a great environment in our entire feeder pattern, the support, the resources that we have to truly have the best education and to give the best for our students. As a parent of a child in Fairhope schools, I'm just honored. I'm actually tickled every day that my child gets to go to a Fairhope school and learn everything that he does, and he's so excited about learning. As I said, STEAM is the answer to ending our pandemic. These students are going to become engineers, doctors, and community helpers and leaders that are going to end pandemic. Like we said at the beginning, we are the first school in Baldwin County to become STEAM certified. We're very excited. We know that our feeder pattern is going to continue. Fairhope West should receive their STEAM certification next month, and we are going to continue to do that. And what basically that does is puts us on the map. So we are one of the first elementaries in South Alabama below Montgomery to receive this certification. And what the STEAM certification is, it is a credential that says that we are a STEAM certified school. Many schools can say that, oh, we do STEAM or we're STEAM certified, but going through this process has helped us to document and show all of the amazing things that we are doing and all of the amazing resources and support of FEEF that has helped us to do that. What really has set us apart is the Pelican's Nest and all of the amazing grants and things that we receive. And so I just want to tell you, thank you so much for your support. You truly are making a difference. You're making school exciting and fun for all students. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for your passion to teach and just your guidance and leadership that you provide every day in the classroom for our students. As she did mention, we are excited for our schools to get this national recognition for work that we've been doing for the past 25 years. But it's just a validation everything that happens within the school, but also within the community and the engagement that we're all pulling together to ensure that we stand out. So thank you all for that. I want to take a second real quick and do just a quick introduction to some of our donors. To me, a donor is someone who provides anything financially, but also of their time. I want to thank and recognize everyone within this room in some capacity, in some way, is a donor in some fashion. So thank you all for that. And as we transition, I want to talk a little bit about kind of why this matters, and give you some firsthand experience of what this looks like, what everything that we're doing on an annual basis and pouring back into our kids looks like. And I want to invite up Madeline Gann to come and talk a little bit and give her experience. She's a 9th grader at Fairhope High School. She has taken 2 years in Fairhope Middle School of advanced guitar, and her learning and everything that she's been able to take away from that has been very instrumental. Come on up. I want to thank her for a contribution that she made to FEEF this past October. She held a private session where she played and entertained guitar and accepted donations and raised $415, and personally turned around and donated that back to FEEF. So thank you. I want to invite you up and just share your experience of everything you've learned through the guitar program.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Madeline Gann, and I'm a freshman at Fairhope High School. I would just like to thank FEEF for giving me the opportunity to speak about my wonderful experience in their advanced guitar class. I've been playing for about 3 years now, and Susan Harrison was my teacher for 7th and 8th grade. I grew so much musically in that class. I learned new techniques for playing and learned how to read music, which has been very helpful for me because I've recently begun to play piano, and all of my knowledge from that class is carried over. I owe so much to Miss Harrison and FEEF for where I am now. I've been able to play at bridal showers, rehearsal dinners, many private events, downtown at the Art Walk, and over the summer, I was able to host my own concert, raising over $400 for FEEF. Thank you, FEEF, and here's a bit of Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. Fast car, I want a ticket to anywhere. We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight, live and die this way. You got a fast car, I got a job that pays all our bills. Been working at a convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs. Finally see what it means to be living. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough that we could fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. Driving in your car, speed so fast, felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. I had a feeling that I belong. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Madeline. That was great. Just honored to be able to have the vision years ago for someone to realize that we need to incorporate music and the arts into our middle school and create such things as a guitar lab and a piano lab so that someone like her could come along, have that experience, and really change the trajectory of her life and find her passions and continue to develop her skill set. So we're blessed to have you. Thank you for playing for us today and the contribution that you made earlier in the year as well. I also want to thank the Grand Hotel for having us today as well. All the support that y'all provided, not only today, but throughout the last 25 years has been instrumental for a lot of the fundraising and programs that we've done. Thank y'all for that. Thank you, Stephen Savage, for coming today to take pictures and document today. We want to thank Wildflower for the balloons that they provided at the front where you entered, and Lion's Share for framing of the Pelican print here, as well as the Fairhope print shop, and then Encore AV for all your help in today. And I'm going to invite up Davis Brock, who's going to talk a little bit more about a vision for the future and what the next 25 years of FEEF is going to look like, and let him speak on that. Thank you, Davis.
Thank you. Good morning. About 5 years ago, a visionary board gathered together to figure out what their BHAG was. Everybody know what a BHAG is? Big, hairy, audacious goal. And what could FEEF do for the next generation of children that are coming? You know what? I left my sunglasses on. Maybe I should take those off. My future is bright, but anyway, the BHAG came about, and there was a consultant brought in, and there was a lot of work done about what can we do next. STEAM was a big deal: science, engineering, math, arts, and technology. How can we support education, K-12, in Fairhope? What can we do? And at that time, the K-1 Center facility was available, but nobody knew who owned it. Right, Jack? Took about 5 years to figure that out. We figured out who owned it. The city bought it. And FEEF had a vision through this whole BHAG process that we wanted to transform part of that K-1 Center facility to engage the community, to increase achievement, to support education, and to be able to expand our offerings beyond just the Pelican's Nest, but to the larger community as a whole. We as a board, a current board, have maintained that we want to continue to fund the Pelican's Nest, and we want that to be our priority, and then to move forward and go engage beyond that to look at what can we do. So that's where we are today. That's where our vision is. And so the collective wisdom of all the people in this room who have had an impact in FEEF over the years, your passion for education and supporting students throughout the course of their lifetime in our school system, we want to be able to take it to the next level. And that's what the exciting part is that we're going to talk about today. We know that we have some work to do at the Pelican's Nest, but we are looking at, if you're looking at the main building at the K-1 Center, to the right of that, there are actually 5 outbuildings there, and you'll see some images in just a minute. But we want to turn that into an innovation center where we can support 7 through 12 learning, where we can offer community engagement activities in those facilities. And we want to expand our STEAM process, but we also want to be able to do other things throughout the community. Preparing for the future. I want to thank Rebecca Bryant so much for all of your help in helping us get these renderings together, working with Volker to get our numbers right, because we're getting ready to kick off a capital campaign. And we're super excited about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that and tell you a little bit about the vision of the board. We've broken this basically into 3 phases. In the first phase, you'll see here the Pelican's Nest. It's kind of hard to see. There's actually a rendering here as well. But we have this is the current Pelican's Nest, and these are the 4 outbuildings that exist. There is a building over here that will be torn down. This is what the space will look like, generally speaking, but I'll go through those very quickly. Phase 1 is we're going to do a little work and clean up the Pelican's Nest, give it a fresh coat of paint, do some things on the inside, put some insulation in because we can still see the sky from the ceiling. We're going to make some green renovations to that facility. We're going to expand some office space and meeting space and some additional classroom space, hopefully. And then we're going to do the new campus entrance we will see here. And then this building back here will be the new bathrooms and cleaning stations for the nets and all those things and the waiters. So that'll be part of phase one. And also the outdoor classroom and net washing station that will be part of that. Phase two moves us into these 4 buildings that we're calling the Innovation Center. These buildings will be available for science education, technology education, arts, and also community education and collaboration space. The spaces inside the classrooms will be fairly blank so that you can do just about anything you want to with those spaces. We'll have mobile furniture and technologies that go along with that. Also with phase two is a partnership with the city, because we're going to be working to create an energy canopy between these so that there'll be solar panels above on the canopies that will connect all of the buildings to each other. And that is a partnership that we're working with the city to do, and we're excited about that. And we're going to have hopefully a little gauge on the inside of the classrooms that shows how much energy we're actually collecting and how much we're actually spending, so that everything that we're doing is part of that living laboratory environment. Another part of phase two is there's a living art wall on the front facade on Church Street, so that'll all be living. And then phase three will be these other living laboratories. So we want the entire space, inside and out, to be a living laboratory where students can go and learn about different pieces of science, engineering, math, technology. But we've got what's called a living machine, and I can't really tell you what that is, but Rebecca can. So if you want to know what a living machine is, you can ask her later. But I know it has some turtles and some other things in it as well. So she can talk to you about that more specifically. Pollination, and then some water areas as well. So our goal is, we do not have the final numbers from Volker yet. We're meeting with them on Tuesday to go over that. We know about what it's going to cost. So we're getting prepared to make sure that we have all the ducks in a row so that we can initially kick off this capital campaign and move forward. So we're super excited about what this could look like, what it will look like for future generations of Fairhope students. And so now we come to the feather the nest. So we have been in conversations with the board and past board members. I used to say old board members, but that sounds kind of bad, doesn't it? But we've been talking about, what does this look like? What is this campus going to, how are we going to facilitate this? What are we going to do? And everything was around the Pelican's Nest, and so we decided to call this Feather the Nest. So our goal is to feather this nest, to continue to grow it, to make it bigger, to be able to support more and do more for Fairhope students in our community at large. And that's where the ask comes. We have a call to action. On your tables, and I didn't bring one up here, there's a card that has a pelican on the front of it. These cards, we're asking for your help. Your collective wisdom, your knowledge, your passion for education. We need your help. We'd love for you to give financially if you can, but if that's not available, maybe you're willing to reach out to 5 other people to say, hey, I'm willing to have you in my home to let you know about FEEF, to solicit donations. Maybe I can't do either of those, but I'm willing to support you and volunteer for one of the committees that will be working over the next several months, possibly a year, to raise the money to be able to do these things. I will tell you that FEEF has always been a good steward of the money that's been given to them, and the goal is always to put back into schools. Stephen talked briefly a minute ago about some of the monies and endowments that we have. We have been fortunate that we have been able to hold back some money or set aside some money over the last several years that we can begin phase one almost immediately. So we will be able to do that phase one piece of this project, which we are super excited about. The city has some plans for the main building at the K1 property. They're going to be working on that, and hopefully we can all start that construction at the same time. Keeping our fingers crossed. We'd like to be able to do that at the end of this year. So our goal is to start that process, get things rolling, continue to raise funds to be able to do this piece of it. But we need your help. We have a call to action, and we'd love for you to take a moment to fill that card out and leave it at the table as you leave today as a part of this process so that we can continue to engage you. It takes a village. We need your help. It's a volunteer board, and we know that many of you have volunteered for a long time over the years. We just want to continue that process and make a difference and an impact with our children and our education in Fairhope.
So I want to acknowledge the print that we have here in the logo. Mr. J.D. Crow was able to use his talents and everything that he does with, I guess, cartooning and drawing to create that for us so that we can use that as a visual representation of the capital campaign. Some of you may have seen via Facebook or social media that we held a naming of the bird, the character, if you would. We opened it up for public input for people to make suggestions on what it should be called. We took that and as a board kind of narrowed it down to the top 3 and how to vote. And we have decided to name our pelican for the Feather the Nest campaign to be Fisher, which I think is very well fitting. So we're excited about that. We're excited for the future. As Davis had mentioned, it's a call to action. We appreciate everybody's support over the past 25 years to get us to the point where we're at today, acknowledging the impact that it has had within our schools over the past 25 years and currently having today. And we cast a vision forward for the future as well. And kind of wrapping up today, I want to thank everybody again for their time today and coming out, but also their time and commitment throughout the years and looking forward. And want to offer up a toast to FEEF and for the next 25 years. So if you would each raise your glass as I'm up here with that one. Thank you again. So we want to honor the past. We want to celebrate the fact that in this COVID environment, we're able to come out and socially distance and have a meeting as we've had today about something that we're all passionate about. And we want to look forward to the future and cast that vision of what the next 25 years of this organization is going to look like and the impact that it's going to have for the next generations to come. And to that, we will all say a cheers. So again, thank you all for coming. That concludes our meeting today and our bringing everybody together today and our celebration. And thank y'all so much for everything, and we'll feel free to mingle and talk further, and we'll be in touch with with the cards and following up on kind of the next steps of the capital campaign. We've offered, there's a magnet on your table too. We ask you to just take it home, put it on your refrigerator, put it somewhere that you'll see as just a reminder for the hard work that has gone in over the past 25 years and what FEEF means to you and the impact it's had, and also as a reminder to look forward to the future as well. So thank you all.